wasn't right?
At 33, I was driving home from work, and I had a funny turn. I didn't know what it was, and I got taken into hospital for. It's a really long story, but I'll give you the short version. For 8 hours, and um, they said it was the pulmonary embolism, which is really random because to get it at that age is not normal. And then they took me for a CT scan that evening and found that I had some shadows um, in my gynecological area as well. So that was that. So they dealt with the PE, which is a pulmonary embolism. And 6 months later, I went to see a gynac and they said, "Oh, you've got some cysts." So I was like, "Okay, fine." Went and had, when they do the laparoscopy, had a laparoscopy done. And he said, "Oh, there's a little bit more than we thought. So we've done it." And then he said, "Well, I'm actually not I think you've got endometriosis and I'm not endometriosis trained. So I'll forward you into another doctor." So I was like, "Okay, fine." But when I saw the other doctor, he said, "Yeah, you've got endometriosis," which I didn't know what it was at the time. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. And I've always had heavy periods. Since I was 11, I started my periods and they've just always been mega heavy. But like you go to the doctors and they'll just say, "Oh, it's just a period. You'll be fine," or "This is like it's quite." So then after that, I saw him, and then he booked me in for another op, and then they found out that I had like infusion, so it was all over my kidney and all that. So that's how it was over my kidney and my bladder at the time, and that's how the journey started, and that was in 2015.
Yeah, and our second question is looking back on like your journey, especially since like this has been happening since 2015, what do you think was the hardest part about getting diagnosed and what really kept you motivated to keep going?
The hardest part was not knowing what's going on because like, you can go in. So I've had 11 ops in total. Going in for the first op, and you're like, "Okay, this will be it," and then you go in for the second, and the second one, like, "I know this one will be it," and it just was like back and forth of like which one and when does it end. And I think you're just trying to get to the bottom of it rather than anything else. So it was more like I was like, "Okay, I'd have the op," and then I'd go back and go, "Oh, but it's got worse." Like, how does it get worse? I've just had an op and so forth. And it was, I suppose that was the hardest part, just not knowing. But what motivated me was that I suppose in my head I thought it will get better. It will get better, or they'll find a cause to fix it, or something will happen to stop it get growing as much as it was. And I couldn't leave it on top of anything because it was quite severe. I couldn't leave it.
Mm. Can I ask how long did it take to fully officially get diagnosed?
So I did. So they diagnosed me in 2015. So, but I must have had it for years because I've been having my heavy periods since I was 11. So I kept going back and forth. Like my mum would take me to the doctors to see why they were so heavy, why I was in pain. All that. Like I missed school. Like when I was younger, they used to be terrible. Um, but then you kind of just, if it's always like that, maybe you just think, well, maybe you've just got that body where you just got heavy periods and pain and stuff, and you just kind of get on with it. But yeah, I think it's so that's a long time. So if I got diagnosed at 35, so probably what, over 20 years.
That's really nice. What inspired you to start sharing that story on social media, and what has that experience been like for you?
It's been really good actually. I mean, it's only been a week since I put it on, so I've been. My friends and family have been saying it to me for years, especially my brother, who's just like, go put it on there, see what happens. And I've got a friend who's been doing the same. She's like, just get on the social media and you will love it. And I've got my personal account, obviously. And then I just thought, do you know what? Let me just try. And it actually went down a treat. Everyone's been really good. Like you guys came forward. So many other people have come forward to like speak to me and find out my story. Yeah, it's just been really good, and it's nice to show people, like say, especially if your guys' generation, what it's actually like. Because luckily, there's a lot more awareness about it now, but there never used to be. It was never that. Like genuinely, I didn't know what it was. It's only when I started researching it and things like that that I found out what it was, and why it kept coming back. But I've got loads of horror stories as well. Like I was once in a restaurant, and I do part of my job is to do some events, and I was sitting in a restaurant with like 20 to 30 people in for a corporate dinner, and then I just felt really weird. I kept saying to my friend was sitting next to me, I kept saying to her, I don't feel right. She was like, "Oh, you've got a bit pale." And I looked down and I was covered in blood. I just didn't know what it was. And I was covered, and I'm just like, oh my God. So I managed, obviously, my work know about it, and they've been really good, supportive and stuff that I've got this condition. But at the time, I just sort of took a jacket, I covered myself, and I went to the hotel and I sorted myself out. But when I phoned the doctor the next day to say this has happened, he actually turned around and told me that was a hypochondriac. He said, I've just done an op like 2 months ago. There's no way it's come back. And I was like, I know my body, it's come back. And anyway, after a lot of chewing and throwing, he redid a laparoscopy and he found out that all my organs had twisted into each other. So all my organs are like conjoined on one side of my body because of it's just it's so covered that it's just fully conjoined on one side, and that's why it happened like that. But he tried to separate it from that doctor. I've been to 2 other specialists who are just refusing to operate now because the operations now would just be too big.
And our next question is like, if you could give one piece of advice for someone who's either going through a similar experience as you or someone who already thinks they might have endo but doesn't know where to start, what would you do?
Going to definitely book in a doctor and tell them you've seen the symptoms, tell them that you think it's this. Don't back away. Just keep pushing for that you think it's that. Can you and I don't know if it's like this you're in America, right? In the UK they've recently brought out like you can do mouth swab tests, and there's one other test they're doing for people to diagnose it. I don't know if it's a new thing that's come out there yet, but yeah, so just go get tested, ask to be tested, go for your smear test, go for everything. Don't miss things, and you just don't know because like obviously it affects fertility, affects so much other things. Like I went to see a doctor at Christmas, and I said to him, "Oh, like I need something. I don't feel like I'm in pain." And so he turned around and told me it's a period pain. You're going to get menopausal soon, so just deal with it. You've dealt with it for so many years. Deal with it now.
That's not a good thing to say as a healthcare professional. Yeah.
So yeah, that was hard. But no, yeah, my journey's been. There's a lot of horror stories, but these are the major ones. And yeah, just get your story out there and speak to everyone because you just don't know who you can help.
What is one thing you think that anyone can do to help contribute to endo research? Because it's so underfunded. And like you said, the swab test, that's only a UK thing. We don't have that in the US yet. And even then, I don't think it's available to people, right?
Not yet, but I think they are looking into it. So there's also a plea here that's happening for that they're doing for. I think I put it on my story the other day, where they're saying for job and companies to go out there and sort of help and understand that it's not just a period pain, and because they're saying 1 in 10 women have it now, which is quite high. But research-wise, I would say like treat it like cancer, treat it like you wanted to, because it is. You still got the tumours, you've got it's all there. It's just benign, so it should be treated the same way. Because okay, touch wood, it's not cancer, but it has the same aspects and the same sort of effects on people, so it should be treated like that. So I suggest that people just go out there, like raise awareness. I did a walk in 2020 with all my friends, and we raised money for endometriosis research and things like that. I think we raised about £6,000, which was really good. So yeah,
That's impressive.
Thank you. And to wrap up, what's one thing you wish more people would understand about endometriosis and all the experiences?
It's not just a period pain. It's not just a period pain. I've got it on my bowel, I've got it on my bladder, I've got it on my intestine, I've got it on my kidney. Some people are saying maybe my embolism happened because of it. Maybe it had risen up and we didn't realise. So it's not just a period. Like, listen to the person when they're saying they're in pain. Like, just try and understand it. That's what I would say.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for sharing
so
your
much.
experience.
Yeah,
Thanks for calling me, guys.
that was truly very helpful. And thank you for all that you do to support endometriosis and raise awareness about it on social media.
Yeah,
you.
we feel like
Thank
all the
you.
words you've said in this interview will really help raise awareness.
I hope so. I hope it helps your project.
And we'll definitely send the video over to you.